Thank you. Time back on.
That's Ruffcraft, big boy.
Welcome back to the Captain's Run with Angus Brayshaw. Another week done. This time on the back of a loss, unfortunately, Angus.
Yep.
We've been curtailing on the back of winning some games of football, and the Instagram followers have been rising. But the loss has come, and I did see that. Did the followers go down potentially?
Well,
post-loss,
I haven't been tracking it super accurately, but it certainly seems as though we've stalled, which is, and I think that probably coincides with not only a loss. It's been a week since I think the podcast really fires us up. That gets us going, and now the people want more.
The peak time for followers is probably the Friday.
Yeah, it's a Friday job, and it's Thursday for those who don't know. So we'll be right tomorrow. Today, we just got to make today a great podcast, and then we'll be sweet.
Well, we got a great guest,
don't we?
Which helps. We've got someone in studio.
Yeah.
We'll get to him later. It's going to be very, very fun. We will get the bad news done first, and that is the loss. We lost to Western Bulldogs. This is the one where the wins, I say it was a big group. It was all 45 of us, me included. Where it's a loss, it was purely the 22 out there. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's fair enough too.
So what did happen?
Well, I think we probably just, the Doggies are first of all a really good team, and they stack up well against us. We're two contested type of football teams, and unfortunately for us, it's probably a sign of where we're at. We just didn't bring the same level of intensity that we had the last 3 weeks for the whole 4 quarters. I mean, people at home definitely watch the game. If they're listening to this podcast, I think it's a safe bet, and they would have seen, that third quarter they were just able to tear us apart and score some easy goals. So, we don't want to be that easy to play against. Unfortunately, that's the way it was on the weekend. We've reviewed it and we've moved on. St Kilda present a really good opportunity, play the same sort of way. They like to move the ball. So we'll get a chance to redeem ourselves, and we're looking forward to it. We won the Hub Cup, and now we're actually flying. So we're going to the game on the same plane as the Saints.
Yep. And
then we're flying back on the same plane with the Saints. So it's the Plane Cup.
So early on in that answer, I found it very political.
Yeah.
And it seemed like you were talking to Benny Gibson.
We can't get political on this podcast.
You needed to be a bit more open to the podcast listeners there.
Yeah.
And then we got there in the end.
Yeah, I feel like it felt like, when you're doing interviews with journos, how they're sitting across the table, they've got their notepad out.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Which is what I have.
Gorney's got his notepad. So I felt a little bit accosted. That means like you've come in to attack me to get a quote out of
leads me to my next point.
Hyperbole.
If I'm sharing the title now with you of this podcast, Captain's Run of Angus Brayshaw. In fact, my name's not even in it.
Yep. Oh, that's
my name is not even in it. Yet I'm the one that brings the notebook.
Well, should we?
And you do no preparation for this podcast at all, apart from trying to get Ed Langdon some Ed Langdon gold.
And can I be honest? That's pretty easy because and the one that happened this week, which we won't go into now, but he just gave it to me, and I will admit that is easy. I've got a digital notebook with me everywhere I go. So
speaking of Instagram,
let's.
We did do a little Ed Langdon. No, sorry, we don't know who it was.
We don't know who it was.
Yes, but that was some quality content. That was from you. For those people listening at home, Angus was in control of the Instagram for those couple of days and put up some great content.
Yeah, so I was walking past Ed Langdon's room on the way back to mine and saw... It was Ed Langdon. Congratulations to everyone who guessed it correctly.
Jake Lever was close. But
Jake Lever was close. I saw a few Nathan Jones. He's a bit of a retro surfer dude, but it was Ed Langdon. So Lingers has bought his from home... so the first one I've gone with here was the stove, the natural gas stove. And a couple of... So this is unreal. This one here. This comment... I bet it plays Sticky Fingers when you turn it on. Classic.
Yep.
Where's the Melbourne Grammar sticker?
Yep.
That was also a classic because Lingers went to Melbourne Grammar, obviously. And then, so the first photos, there's nothing there. I just got that on a random day. But then I walked back and he was sitting there with his little tea can. He's got unpasteurised, like straight from the...
Let's save this for the segment, do we?
Yeah, let's.
No, well, finish it off. We might as well. Sorry.
And I just thought, geez, couldn't really have captured it right better than in this moment, and I've sort of cropped it out. You'll see the photo. I'll put the whole photo up later, but I've sort of cropped it to keep it a little bit mysterious, and so that was Lingers, guys, and it's pretty obvious from my end, but it's pretty funny.
Now, you're running a few Instagrams at the moment. Obviously, Angus Brayshaw 10 or whatever you...
I'll be honest, there's a lot on my plate.
Yeah, is that your normal Instagram, Angus Brayshaw 10? Would you say?
Angus _ Brayshaw 10 is the hashtag.
Barbie Onions.
Barbie Onions that's a... That's a plate load of
Yep.
work.
Yep.
Pun intended.
And now Captain's Run. I notice on your Instagram handle that you haven't got at Captain's Run written in Angus Brayshaw.
I'll change that. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, running all these Instagrams.
Yeah. Now, what I did do the other day, I thought I'd pump myself up a little bit at the same time, is I put a Barbie Onions tag up regarding a shape.
Yes.
And I managed, with looking at the insights of Instagram, managed to get 2,100 people through your Barbie Onions Instagram. How many followers did that turn into? Do you know?
We're a cult following. I can actually give you some statistics on that because there's an Instagram function that lets you see how many you've sort of gained or lost over the last however long period. So you posted that, how long ago would you say, in the last 7 days?
7 days ago.
So I've gone and got myself...
No, it was
100 followers.
It was 2 weeks ago anyway.
Well, it's 100 followers for me over the last week. So maybe that's good for you.
All right, a couple of topics we want to get through. Harley Bennell is going to be a father.
Yes, that's huge.
Which was amazing hub news. Got
Very
the boys
exciting.
up.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Did you know, fun fact, I haven't approved this with Harley, but I'm presuming it's...
we can cut it out if it's
I'm
really
presuming
bad.
it's news that can go anywhere. In his family tradition, that boy has no other way of being... It has to be named Harley Jr.
So I'm not sure if I can authoritate that. I'm not sure if that's the truth, but I do know he wants to call it Harley Jr.
Yeah, well, apparently it's a family tradition and there's no other choice. So
he's Harley the what? The fourth?
Yeah.
Fifth?
I don't know what number he is. I can't count in Roman numerals.
Well, I mean... Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
what would...
Well, so you know that it's Harley XI or something next to his name, but you don't know what it...
Don't know. That could be 40th. Is it the 40th Harley?
Well, we're not a Roman numeral podcast. That's not us.
No, we're not. That's a hyperbole, that one.
Yep.
Coffee. I do want to touch on coffee.
Which we love.
Because you're drinking one right now and it sort of just sparked up in my head. So there's two coffee options here at the Hub. Mm-hmm. There's one that's put on by the lovely people of Novotel Twin Waters.
You're about to get political here because you're about to say something that could potentially step on toes, ruffle a few nests.
Which is free.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a free coffee. It's a free coffee service.
So I don't drink the coffee. I don't drink coffee full stop. Is the Twin Waters Novotel coffee a good coffee?
For it to be free, there is obviously some lacking
in
a few areas.
Like what?
And then there's a pop-up cafe from 2Ks up the road. This popular cafe that a lot of people go to has done a pop-up cafe here at the resort, and their coffees are $5. So they're not even your standard $4 coffee. They're a $5 coffee. If you want almond milk, it's $6. If you want decaf, it's $7. It starts rising. So that's an expensive coffee. But I can't put a price on my happiness, and I get happiness out of a good cup of coffee.
Okay.
What I'm amazed is very, very little people go to the pop-up.
Yeah,
so the free coffee that tastes a little bit...
So just go out and say it.
The free coffee that tastes a little bit like Nestle.
Yeah. You don't like
Nescafe. Nestle is the chocolate brand, isn't it?
I've still no idea.
Coffee, so that is... people are getting that more than the $5 beautifully espresso. These guys won they come top 50 in the coffee awards of Australia.
And that's good. There's a lot of coffee people out there. Yeah, okay. I would say... two things. First of all, free coffee. You think about how many coffees you have a day?
3.
So that's $15 times, let's say we're here for 100 days.
Yep.
So $1,500 is a drop in the pond for you, Max Gorn, captain of the football club, John Ralph's top 50 earners.
Yep.
But, wages have been cut in half. Maybe that's potentially...
But is 15... you can't put a price on happiness. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't think you probably can.
Yep. So you agree with it, or
I think? Look, I'm sitting on the fence here.
Yeah, well, you've got a hot chocolate and a free hot chocolate.
Yeah, well,
that's what you've got.
I get happiness out of getting my hot chocolate for free. How do you feel about that?
Okay, that's so. But is the guys that do the pop up make a better hot chocolate?
I actually haven't tried. You know what?
You haven't tried because it's got a price tag to it.
Let's go try. I'll try straight after this.
What I'm trying to say is you haven't opened your wallet since you've been here.
That's not true.
What have you brought?
Bought a lot of shapes for some market research.
Yeah.
A few onions. I actually supplied onions for one of our big cook-ups. Do you remember sitting up under the teepee? There was a huge tray of Barbie onions, which I made sure were there.
And it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. They stuffed it up. And it often happens. You want to talk about food economics. The more food you get, the more onions you have to cook.
Yep.
Quite often, the quality suffers. So I understand where you're coming from, Max, but there's actually not a lot of reasons to open your wallet up here. We've been well looked after, so maybe I'll start doing that just to please you.
Couple of other little things to go through. Apparently the hat I'm wearing is 1 in 100.
Was I supposed to get one?
And there could be one coming for you, but I think there's only like 40 left.
So I mean, there's 1 in 40 that I can certainly put my name on.
We've had a few people request the hat via social media. Apparently it's just Demon Shop. You look for this bad boy and there's only 100. So it could be Gorn, Brayshaw and 98 other people wearing this hat.
How long have you had the hat for?
I got it at maybe episode 3, I reckon.
And what are we up to episode 8 now?
Yeah.
So 5 weeks and they still haven't sold 100 hats.
Correct.
Jeez.
I don't think people know about it, so they've been waiting for that plug.
Okay, well, there's the plug. Get the
It's
hat.
tough times in Victoria.
Yeah, true. Well, it's 100 hats, I mean.
Now, we've got our second member of the Southport crew, they call themselves.
Yes.
There was a group that came up a little bit later and missed the initial 2 weeks in Manly.
Yes.
And then eventually we got our whole squad up here. But only one of them has played so far, and it's Braden Bruce. But the second member is going to play this week. I'm just looking to make sure I can announce it.
We're going to be able to chop that out.
Yeah, I mean, we just put the podcast on after team news, but I think Joshy Wagner.
Yeah,
which is great news.
Yeah. We're in new. Betty Gibson's.
I don't think St Kilda are going to change their game plan based on Josh Wagner being included, but
geez, you've gone whack there.
No, is they're not going to change their game plan on one player?
No, maybe
you.
you.
No, I don't even reckon that. I think teams are so strong on their game plan.
I think they'll probably have a conversation that the big fella's back.
Well, I won't announce if I'm playing or not.
Yeah, exactly. Is Braden Bruce? I mean, I guess we probably can't go too far into the team news yet.
Well, I don't know if we're going me, Prusy, or just me.
How are you feeling body buys, by the way? We can talk about that.
Did you put a B, body buys? Did you say
I said body wise.
I think you said body buys.
I think we said body wise.
Yeah, my biceps are good.
Body wise?
Yeah, body wise. Yeah, good. I got through training, which is good.
That's huge. So are you prepared to drop any...
Well, I understand Prusy's playing really good football. Yep. So I don't know where that stands. I'm happy to play.
You've put your hand up, though, for selection.
Yeah, I'll put my hand up for selection.
Okay. We'll see what Goody thinks.
Another couple of things before we go to our favourite segment.
Yeah, please.
Then followed by our least favourite segment, but they're both coming. Fun fact that we never touched on early on in the podcast is we lost a trainer due to him feeling sick one day, and he couldn't come and be a trainer at our game. So he had to stay in the hotel and do his quarantine until he got a couple of negative tests, and then we saw him again. I think it was our weights coach, actually, David Watts.
I didn't correct you because it's your show. I didn't want to step on your toes.
And because we're in a hub, we had very little people that could replace that role, or just 6 backs were going to go without any water for the whole time.
They would be thirsty.
Until we had someone raise their hand who is the old Brighton physio.
Grammarian, yes.
And also the old Brighton trainer. And it is Jaden Hunt's girlfriend, Bronwyn, which I find hilarious that we were able to find a player's partner to fill in to be a trainer, and he wasn't playing.
Yeah, that was very funny. So she got on the team bus and he stayed back.
He was sitting there waving, saying good luck.
She had her team kit on. Yeah, exactly. It's actually, you're right, it is incredible because they have to be able, they have to have a certain level of first aid certification. So if someone hurts themselves right on the boundary next to them, they have to be able to help. So she's ticked that off.
Yep.
She has to know how to run, so she's ticked that off as well. Yep. And that was basically the criteria satisfied. And she did a tremendous job, to be fair.
And the last one, Matt Jack Dorr wore number 11 in the scratch match for Melbourne Football Club, which is another thing that I never thought I'd say. There'd be 3 North Melbourne players playing for Melbourne and 3 playing for St Kilda in a scratch match on the back oval of Maroochydore because the Maroochydore seniors had the main ground.
Really?
Yeah.
That is something else.
We're out on the back oval.
Oh dear.
Umpired by Jimmy Plunkett, head of growth and human development.
Certainly not head of umpiring.
No. He played full back, which is a position that the number 11 has always wanted to play, and I'm glad it finally got to. I've always wanted to play full back. I reckon it's the easiest role in football.
Yeah, until they kick a few snags on you.
A few snags. What's that? You just blame it on the mids. That's what they do.
That's the Stephen May special, isn't it?
All right, you want to take us away?
Yeah, sure. I've actually been practicing because last time I think I probably didn't do it justice. So with that said, we're going to our favourite segment. It's Eddie Langdon's
segment.
Nailed it. Way better.
Beautiful.
So people who've listened consistently to this show know what's about to happen. it's quite often me sitting up on my high horse, and laughing at Lingers.
And it's great fun.
It's great fun. It's easy. It's low hanging fruit.
Yep.
Every week he sort of puts something up there, and it's just it's for the better of all of us. I'm bringing it to the people.
Is he aware?
He is
of what we're doing.
I think he is. That's why he doesn't want to come on the show.
Yeah.
I think
we'll get him.
We'll get him.
By people power, I want everyone to start tagging Ed Langdon in a lot of our stuff.
Well, they've already done it. I think maybe that's the social media working. He came up to me, he's like, "What if you tagged me and you goose?" And I'd 2 photos. So the people are already making inroads.
Before our last game of the year, which will be the granny,
we'll
have him on.
That would be a huge guess. Anyway, I digress. So usually it's just me potting him. This week, however, I've got a message of hope.
Oh wow!
Because and it's obviously I'm still going to pot him. That doesn't change. But this is going to be a message of hope. We're bringing him back slowly but surely. So, Ziggy Alberts.
Yep. He's
an artist.
He's a bit of a controversial figure at the moment. Anyway, go on.
So he is controversial, and that probably plays into it a little bit. So for those who don't know, Ziggy has made his I would say his brand is like this. Like a you think Triple J top 100 hottest 100. Like he's like Indiaz guitar. He's just got long hair and he's like swaying with the energy and stuff.
I think he's good looking as well.
Yeah, like he's all. You know what I'm trying to, the picture I'm trying to paint. Lingers loves him, right?
Right up Lingers' alley.
Right up Lingers' alley. Like
I think he voted for him.
He must have voted a few times for Ziggy. And a big fan of his work, and, the whole ideology, they line up really well. So Lingers is... 2 things have happened this morning, which have just lined up perfectly. So he's gone to the Island Cafe, and he's got his keep cup, gets his coffee, and he's... making his way home, and he sees the new Ziggy Alberts' song's been released, and it's not a new song. It's one of his old songs that he's decided to come back and rap over the top of, like change it up, which is interesting. Yep. And Lingers is like, well, geez, I've got to listen to it because of the ideology I'm subscribing to at the moment. So he plays it, and the first rapping line, Ziggy Alberts comes in and says, "Got 2 flat whites in my keep cup." Lingers was drinking a flat white.
Oh no!
And he says, "Gus, geez, I've looked at myself and I'm like, I don't like the person I'm becoming. This has hit me too close to home. I'm standing here listening to a bloke rap about 2 flat whites in a keep cup. I'm drinking my flat white out of a keep cup, and I don't like where I'm at."
So did he get a takeaway cup from there, or
no, keep cup.
Stayed in keep cup.
And so we're sitting in the front of this car, and of course I'm laughing. But I think the most important thing to recognise here is that the process is working. Like over a period of months, we've finally got him back on the straight. Well, back towards reality, because he would have heard that and said, "Oh yeah, flat white, keep cup. Like how good am I?" But now he's sort of straightening back up. So I like that from Lingers.
So we got some hope. We got some hope.
He's on the way back.
Well, he's coming from a long way.
He's coming from a long way. I mean, he's still got the keep cup. Yeah. He's still drinking flat white out of it, and he's still listening to Ziggy Alberts. But I think a message of hope this week for Lingers. So tag him in everything, and we'll fire him back up.
All right, it's time for our second favourite segment, which is funny because there's only 2 segments. So whichever way you look at it.
Tough to beat the Lingers stuff, isn't it?
Yep. This is where I start the song.
Geez, let me recalibrate.
It'll just come to you. It's Benny Gibson.
He's got the news.
He's got the news.
Second favourite segment, I'm taking that. Yep. I wanted to start off by addressing the fact that you broke some news earlier around Josh Wagner playing.
Yep.
And I've got a bit of a conflict of interest here. I'm not allowed to break those sort of stories. So
that's all right.
I've got a bit of an issue when you take my job and do it earlier in the podcast. So I think we need to clear up potentially what we're allowed to say and what we're not.
Okay.
Because
he's come on and started swinging, which is interesting, because that's usually what you do when we get someone on, just start swinging at them. So I like the tactic. I don't like what you're saying, Benny Gibson. It's our podcast, so I think we're fully entitled to do whatever we want.
You do talking points way too early in the week, which means we get a good chance to do this around... You get like the first review of the game, so we can't really talk about the game much because it's been reviewed.
Correct.
But then we can do preview because we're second in the week. So I think this is our avenue to talk about selection.
Well, for the fans listening, we're doing a match preview with Alan Richardson on Talking Points this week. So
that'll be good.
Listen to that. He used to coach St Kilda, for those that aren't aware.
Yep.
Anyway, we're going to brush past that and go straight to injury news. I'll get through the boring stuff first. Tom Sparrow... Well, it's not boring. He broke his collarbone.
Yeah, boring.
He's out for a month.
That down. Tom Sparrow out with boring, was it?
Well, you'll hear me. Luke Jackson, he could potentially be back from the hamstring last game of the season. But James Jordan's the one we want to talk about.
Yep.
So for anyone that watched
the least boring.
This was gross.
This is the least boring.
I was live here.
Were you really?
Yeah.
So, well, maybe you're the better man to talk about it. Burjo said he has hurt his finger out for 4 to 6 weeks. Can you explain what exactly he did to his finger and how?
He got it stuck under a really, really heavy dumbbell. And then as he's reacted, when the dumbbell falls on your finger, you try and go, and pull it out. He's pulled it out, but it's stuck on the dumbbell. So he's torn his skin and almost amputated his finger purely by pulling it off out of the dumbbell.
Can I take back my initial attack of your call boring?
Compare Tom Sparrow's collarbone
is
to James Jordan having no finger.
So James Jordan had blood everywhere, blood all over the gym. Got rushed to hospital, and lucky enough, the surgeon there early on was saying, I may have to amputate your finger.
You're joking.
But then once he got into the surgery, realised that one of the nerves there
salvageable.
was salvageable. So lucky enough, and I think he's still potentially a chance to play at some point this year.
That's gross.
Amazing story. We were talking last night. I was talking to Doc, who is Laura. We were asking about the toughest players on the list. Who would you think would be the toughest player? That's pretty tough from James Jordan.
It's a good question. Braden Bruce is right up there.
Laura would say that I'm tough, I think, because she's had a few...
You weren't mentioned?
She's had a few...
I think we can leave it right there.
Yeah, I think we probably leave it there.
Jack Viney, obviously.
She went with Nathan Jones.
That's an easy answer. She's seen the tattoos and has gone blind. I don't like that at all.
Well, speaking of Jones, did you go to his little room for a movie, and what biscuit did you bring?
Not a little room. He's got a palace.
Oh,
wow.
I don't know, 293 games, whatever it is, gets you a palace.
Yeah, I think it does.
My bed's on wheels and I've got tiles, but
the reason why we don't come to my room is the TV's as big as that laptop there, where his TV takes up the whole wall. So it's a much better view.
Mine sometimes
Which fun fact about that? His son Remy chucked a PlayStation controller into the TV, and they had to pay $600 to get it repaired.
He must have been watching his dad's reaction when he was a late withdrawal.
Did he break anything?
Boots, I think. I don't know.
Punch
the Red Bull fridge may have been in trouble. Yeah,
the Red Bull fridge.
We're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah. What did I take? I took the big chocolate teddy bears.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't get confused for tiny teddies here.
I was about to say.
This is a different brand where there's about 12 in a pack.
Yeah.
And they're big chocolate-coated teddy bears. That's what I took.
They're really good.
And provided by the Joneses was nothing this week.
Okay.
They've gone... They
probably spent all their money on TV repairs.
on the new TV.
I did a trip last night to Coles Essential Service, got some pods.
Good call.
Which flavour?
S'mores.
Jeez, I've got a funny... Can I just...
First taste.
Can I interject about pods? I was talking to our good friend...
You can completely cut off Benny's story and go with your one.
Thought it was my segment. That's right.
Dangerous. And I'd like to... Because you're a Coles frequenter, so am I.
Yeah.
Porterhouse has gone for the pods as well. And as he's taken it and put it into the carry bag, Beck, our dietitian, has caught him.
Yeah, I saw that.
So have you had anything like that?
I haven't had Beck witness me get any treats. Mind you, I'm only buying the one packet of biscuits for that one night a week.
Guilty though. Still guilty.
But no, that is very funny of Oscar. But Oscar's very, very fit and lean, so I'm not sure if Beck would have cared.
No,
she didn't seem too fussed that I was getting pods either. So
yeah.
Good result.
That's good chat.
It is from him.
Now, when he rudely cut you off, where were you going?
It's interesting that you say that because you are the rude cutter offerer on this show, and I'm just trying to interject.
You get in my way sometimes, Gus. But Dylan Grimes is the next bit of news. So
Grimesy.
I think 2 people have now been arrested. Is that correct? That I should know that. I'm breaking the news. 2 people have been arrested for their inboxes to Dylan Grimes for staging. I'm guessing they're Essendon supporters. We saw he actually got the free kick. He got a push in the back stage. And that brings me to the topic of, do players or do fans ever inbox you guys as players after a game of footy?
I really like this topic for one reason, for a few reasons, but the main reason is as captain and as a leader and as a friend to the 44 guys on this list, I really want people to be the best version of themselves, and being the best version of themselves usually involves just being your age and being a regular person and being on social media. posting on Instagram, posting on Twitter, being on Facebook, being on Snapchat. That's what young 19, 20-year-olds do.
Yeah, it's part of it.
And when they're forced to either delete one of those apps or try and hide those apps or limit their time on those apps or filter those apps purely because of some of the backlash they get on their performance. One, I'm selfish. I'm not getting the person that I need out on the field because they're not being the best version of themselves. And also as a friend, they're being weighed down by something heavy. And I know social media for some people might be saying, just get it out, just wipe it out. But this is well and truly part of Generation Y and millennials' life.
Yeah, my old man, Stixie Brayshaw, is a very anti-social media. He's a fossil, so I don't think that's the way of the future. I don't think the answer is to just avoid it completely.
But I do. I for some reason, every time I don't get 15 disposals, don't know why that's the magic number, I get absolutely harassed, which is not often, to be fair.
Do you know why I think that is? Because I've had a few. 15 is the magic number. Yeah. I think it's got something to do with betting.
With gambling, yeah.
Gambling. I owe about $100,000 in ruined multis.
Yep.
I get a lot of that from people.
So, I mean, I've just got some, I won't name these people, I've got some examples of after the Port Adelaide game, which is where we got...
Wasn't a great night.
Completely thumped. I tore a lat, courageously played on the whole game.
Tough. That's tough.
Will we beep the swear words?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a go.
Yeah.
All right. You cost me a 10.2k multi. How could you possibly not get more than 15 disposals? You weak Yours sincerely.
Name.
They've
gone sincerely, which is interesting because...
At least it's a nice finish.
Yeah, Manners doesn't seem to be high on the priority list, but continue.
Please don't miss this game. I need you for Supercoach. You've already let me down, and I've had you as captain. Please don't put in another weak effort. That's not too bad.
2 pleases.
That's not too bad. I don't mind that. Supercoach is very strong. Please tell me you're not missing this week, big fella. You soft... Interesting. My Supercoach season depends on it. I follow Essendon, but you're also my favourite player. So that's interesting that he's gone for the shit sandwich there.
Yeah.
He's tried to... that's just a couple of examples. There is some brutal ones. I didn't get a death threat like Dylan Grimes did.
Yeah, I haven't had a death threat. But, I mean, everyone gets bad ones. It's just whether you choose to read them or not.
But the moral of the story is I do like that it has been tried to be stood out by Victoria Police, and the AFLPA has made a pretty strong stance on it. Dylan Grimes, Jack Rewald has made a pretty strong stance on it. Mitch Robinson went hard on his podcast, rival podcast, although I did go on Mitch Robinson's before this even started, so don't judge me. Don't look at me with those eyes.
I'll close them.
They've all made really, really strong stances, which is important.
Keep it positive. Everyone love everybody, quoting a Will Ferrell movie there. But it's interesting, the police stuff. Like, I think that's definitely set a precedent. You like big words, so hopefully that stuff gets cut out.
And a lot of talk about gambling, just being told to mention we're sponsored by VRGF. Love the game, not the odds. Great plug there. We're wearing the Indigenous Guernsey again this weekend, which is great. Nev's design. Apparently sold out of mediums and larges at the Demon Shop. Plenty of youth jumpers available. Gus, thanks for putting up your hand.
Put my hand up that time.
now you can talk.
You quickly got your manners back in check, haven't you?
Yeah, I was raised. Deborah Brayshaw, who has been on the podcast, raised me well, so I put my hand up there.
We need to get Sticks in.
We do.
Keep going.
He'd be great. So we've sold out. How many jumpers did we sell?
I couldn't tell you, but
I'd say more than 100.
Yeah.
So
sure.
where's
more than the hats?
What's going on with the hats?
With this fundraising we're doing for the club, which is...
Proud to give, proud to belong.
Yes. How about we sign our Indigenous jumpers from this week?
Stick them up.
Captain's run signatures on both the 11 and the 10.
Do you want me to sign the front or the back?
The signatures on the front.
I like where your head's at. We can iron the details out later, but two signed Captain's run jumpers. Don't sell them separately. Yeah, I think so.
And we'll donate our Indigenous jumpers for that campaign to raise some money for the club.
Perfect. Hopefully a bit of that money goes into the cap sales as well, so we can get those off the ground.
I thought you were thinking salary cap.
No, I'm talking your cap sales.
You're worried about the 50% contract.
More advertising. More advertising for the caps.
Need a bit more coin over a Brayshaw land, do you?
Well, yeah. Drop in the pond. What do you say? Drop in the pond?
Not a splash in the ocean.
Splash in the ocean.
Haven't made one yet.
I had a bit of St Kilda talk, but I think that's a good note to finish on. It's good gesture from you too, so I'll wrap it up there.
Beautiful. On you, Benny.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love the D's.
You're getting married soon. Is the mustache staying?
Mine is, yeah. Leah's going to grow one as well.
We're 5 points behind and the siren has sounded. Who would you rather have the chance to win the game for us, Jack Fitzpatrick or Julia Gillard?
I don't think we're going to win the game either way with those two.
Thanks, Lyndon. That's gone in 60 What we've just heard is my first ever interview with this guest. It was back in 2012.
Yep. I checked
so Dunny would have been 45 years old then. But we do have...
That's terrible.
We got the great man. We've got someone from another team who's also at our hub, who lost the Twin Waters Cup 2 weeks ago, so we'll ask him about that.
We will.
And we've got him in. Chin, Lyndon Dunn, welcome.
Hello, boys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Now, you were a bit sceptical. I asked you about 9 weeks ago for your first time, and you've taken 9 weeks to finally come on the show.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. I'm painting you to be a bit of a prick here.
I don't know what you're doing that
I asked
for.
him last night, and he's dropped everything and came in.
Apologise to Lyndon on air, I would have thought.
I'm sorry, Lyndon.
Well, I had you begging me at my doorstep last night.
I'm buying you dinner tomorrow, aren't I?
I hope so.
Which is hilarious because all we do is eat buffet. So,
hope so.
what do I do? I just
And there
get
was
the
that
plate for
envelope
you.
you gave me under the table as well.
Thanks for coming on, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Despite
on.
our host being a real sort of bad bloke at the moment, we do appreciate you
And
coming on.
especially after unfortunately losing the Twin Waters Cup. Melbourne Collingwood. We played the other day. Obviously, I wasn't out there. Angus certainly was.
Yeah, I was out there.
Yeah, one of your better games for the year.
Enjoyed
but-
the cello.
Yeah, the most important part of that match was Lyndon v Tom McDonald because Tom McDonald's one of Lyndon's teammates that he was able to play with and play with for a long time. And Tom McDonald was actually not much has changed, but he was very sort of patronising, like you either liked him
That's
or
a
you
big
didn't.
word. That's a big word from you.
Yeah, what's the word if you either like him or you didn't?
Polarising.
Polarising. Take patronising out.
Yeah.
That's not the word I meant.
Please don't. I need this.
Is what's patronising?
Patronising is what I do to you when you don't know a word.
Yeah.
It's like looking down on you.
So it's not patriotic.
No,
That's completely different.
patriotism.
Polarising.
We're all learning.
Yes. How was it playing on Tommy? Did you talk to him?
Not really. We had a few moments where we had a few quiet words, but unfortunately, we weren't in a position where I could give him a little bit more than I did.
Yep.
Sounds as though you got some bad blood on that. Gone in 60 seconds. You said he's got a pretty big ego. There would have been a bit of...
I didn't say that. That was the question.
Well, Tommy's first nickname
Gans,
at the
wasn't it?
club was Gansy, which was
Is that
short.
not his nickname anymore?
No, which was short for arrogance.
Yeah. Well,
Arrogance depends how you say it.
you can make it fit.
I think the limelight came off Tommy when Big Porter got drafted.
The big
He's
house,
obviously the
the better
favourite
McDonald.
McDonald.
Big Port. We're fans of Big Port in
Yeah.
here.
I think everyone is.
Yeah.
Shows big Porterhouse fans.
The prick stole my job. So that's why I'm at the Pies now.
So that's where we're getting at. Over 100 games in Melbourne. In fact, 160, 70 odd. Do you know how many you played with Melbourne?
165.
And then 33 with Collingwood, which means you're sitting at 198.
Correct.
When you were sitting at 196, you might have been doubting potentially getting to 200 at times, which we'll get into your story in a sec. But 198, now you can sniff it. You're in and around. Hopefully you can get there. Do you think you have a chance to play this week, next week, week after?
The team comes out later today. So I played in the twos scratch match last week.
Yep.
Went okay. So hopefully back in this week. If not, hopefully soon.
Were you guys able to get on the main oval at Maroochydore?
We played in Brisbane.
Our
training.
twos played on the seconds ground
Yeah, right.
because it's Maroochydore seniors were playing.
Well, it is hard. There's a bit of traffic on the ground at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be nice to certainly play 2 more games and even play a final. That'd probably be more important.
Well, that's the.
That was another question you had or another statement.
I don't say too many nice things to you. We do have a banter relationship. We do get deeper as well. But
Don't backtrack. You've drawn
when
your line in the
Melbourne
sand
played
early.
finals in 2018, obviously Lyndon finished up in 2017. 16. Sorry. And Collingwood were also going to play finals in 2018. And Lyndon had the biggest games tally with no finals. And he did his knee, unfortunately. Not many rounds before the finals. What round was it?
It was mid-year, 14 or 15, I
Yeah,
think.
so both teams were looking like playing finals. And unfortunately, Collingwood and Melbourne did both make prelims. Collingwood made a granny. And it was devastating to not see you out there. So hopefully you are a chance to sneak back in and play a final because you deserve to. And kick one more goal because
Yeah,
you're
I was
sitting on
about to
99
say,
goals.
When you get out there, will you just go on long runs up the far side and just get on the end of one and barrel one from 60 to get the 100 goals as well?
Just to get it up.
Yeah.
No, it's not really something that I've thought
Political.
about. I do play at the other end of the ground, so the good thing about playing defence is you can still kick goals.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I'm consciously thinking
Would like
about.
to see you raise the bat as well.
I'm thinking about having the tee off
Yeah.
for my 100.
You have
Because
got
every
the tee
time I
off.
play golf, I usually have 100, so it would make sense.
You've got the tee off license as well. You can actually hit them pretty far.
You don't mind? There's no trademark.
You just have to
attached
kick from
it.
outside 50, and you can do that pretty comfortably. And so once you do that, then you can swing away. So
So it's got to be outside 50.
that's my rule of thumb, which I've just made up.
Have you ever hit a hole in one, actually?
It's interesting you say
No,
that.
we
Lyndon.
don't have that long.
We don't have that long. I love that though from you. That's good stuff.
I penciled you in for that goal against over in WA. Who'd you play? Freo.
Adelaide.
Adelaide. Over in Adelaide. Sorry. Tell me about that first game back from the knee recos, 2 recos. The second one was in a practice game before AFL round 1, which is a horrible time to do it, as you probably would have known. It's been a whirlwind, and you eventually get picked after a few games in the 2s up here. The emotions must have been running high.
Yeah, it was awesome. To come back, I never thought, I sort of had to work my way back onto the list at the end of the season last year as well. So I've had to jump over a few hurdles, and there's been certainly some dark patches, as you would know, Maxie. You were a lot younger though when you did yours. But even just to play that one game, it meant a lot to me and my family. And to kick a goal, I don't actually know how I got in that position.
50-metre penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And then I don't think I've ever been so nervous kicking a
Really?
goal.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I know that everyone wants me to kick it.
Yeah.
Well, probably except
The opposition.
for opposition and maybe Max.
Yep.
Definitely Max.
But our forwards, I think we might have kicked 1 goal 6 or something by that stage. So
Mm-hmm.
I sort of feeling the pressure, and
That's unreal.
I put my hand up to play forward. Maybe I need to swing forward for the last
That
sort of
could
back
be
half
it.
of the season.
That could be the thing that gets you across the line.
Well, my check might be back now from his hit with Vandenberg that we spoke about last week. So I was thinking there's a spot there maybe.
Is he good? My check?
Check. Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, well, Vanders is he pulled out all stops. You would have heard about the bottle.
Well,
and
yeah,
stuff.
it was said that it was a bottle of wine. It was actually a cask. I'm not sure how much. Is it Cool Bar, or you didn't know what it was, Max?
Gorney, you know. The
Gorney's
silver
all
pillow.
over the goon sacks hanging off the clothesline in the backyard.
You talked about your darkest times potentially through the recos, which I did experience obviously a lot younger. What were some of the tactics that you're able to get through that? When I was a lot younger, I'd just go out and have a durry, which is well documented. But for you, probably not a durry man at the age of 30. But what were some of the, like, obviously surrounding yourself with family and staying happy and positive would have been the key ones?
Yeah, I think, 2018, as you mentioned, we played finals and made it to the grand final. So I was in the coach's box grand final day. So I've never actually been to a grand final, been waiting to play in one.
Yeah.
So that was the first grand final I've ever been to. So it's one of the great experiences of my career, actually, being there grand final day, and we got so close. But yeah, keeping busy, trying to coach the younger boys and help them out, spending time with family, basically trying to keep your mind away from footy and your knee and tick off your rehab. It's just a grind. Every day is the same, and you feel like you're not making progress at all. And it actually just felt like it was the same knee, because I was pretty much 9.5 months, did it again, and it just felt like a repeat, a repeat of the first one. So
Deja vu.
bit of deja vu, as Brad Gotch would have said when he was coaching the Casey Scorpions.
That's Brad Gotch said that before a game?
Before a final.
Before a final.
We only
Deja
lost by
vu.
15 goals.
Can you imagine our mindset going into that game?
Geez.
He's at Collingwood now, isn't he, Brad Gotch? Or has he just left?
No, well, he's at home at the moment. He's not in the hub,
Yep.
but he has been at the Pies with me for the last 4 years, which has been good to see a friendly face.
Last one about your knee. How is it now?
Knee's good now.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully it's all behind me.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't want to think about it too much, but
All right, well, we'll stop talking about
We'll
it.
stop talking about it.
Well, let's talk
Stop
about
asking questions.
Let's talk about the D's.
Let's keep an eye on us still.
yeah, it's funny. A lot of people do ask if I have relationships with players and do I still have an interest, and of course I do, but there's not many boys left that I actually played with. There's like a fair turnover
Yeah.
on lists now.
You're a big Wiedemann man.
Oh,
Who isn't? Can we just say?
he's
He's
I'd like to
gorgeous.
say I taught him everything he knows, but that's not true. That's probably why he's going so well.
Draft pick 15, way back in the day. around the Matthew Bate, Michael Newton crew. Just really drafted some big powerhouse forwards.
Correct.
Then you ended up being a defensive mid and kept Gary Ablett to 20.
Sure did, yeah. Not many players have done that for a half. And the worst part about that was geez, we had a stinker that day. We played Gold Coast at the G, and it was the Gary Ablett ISO vision on Foxtel. So I reckon that's the most I've ever been seen on during a match. And I don't think I touched a footy or him once.
But you did do great on Chris Judd the week before.
Yeah, so that was part of the reason of getting the gig again.
Yep.
Never again.
And then ended up in the back line. There's the famous story that you think's actually incorrectly told of Mark Neild saying, I think you should be a backman, and you told him where to go. But apparently it didn't happen like that.
It didn't happen like that.
But that's funnier.
It is funnier.
Yeah.
But imagine saying that to a senior coach. I don't think... Well, I'm sure there's players that have said that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And happy with that move. Full backman.
Well,
you're able
probably
to get
wish
10
I would-
kicks just from running out of the square, which is always handy.
Yeah, well, now you don't even need to kick it to yourself, so
Yeah.
it's a lot easier.
That'd be great. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Favourite position?
Well, I kind of wish I played back from the start now.
Yeah, right.
But I wouldn't change anything. You can take the forward out of the forward line, but not the forward line out of the forward.
Love that.
Yeah.
Did you understand
You've
that?
lost me, so
Yeah.
Angus liked it, so we're going to keep it.
Can you be patriotic and tell him?
So it's all about hyperbole, Max.
Okay, thank you.
Who's your favourite player at Melbourne? Present
Now?
company excluded, yeah.
Present company excluded. Oh, it'd have to be the nut.
Yes.
Yeah, we love the nut.
Yeah, I
love
think
the
everyone
Nats
loves the
arms.
nut, including the nut.
Yeah.
Little thing, when you played at D's, North Melbourne seem to hate you. And they seem to hate you very strongly. And it goes back to what your arguments of Pratt and Boomer Harvey and sort of the older generation. They were just in our hub. Was there any sort of still ill feelings with North Melbourne?
No, it's funny because when I got to Collingwood, Levi Greenwood was at the club.
Yeah.
And he was very standoffish, and he's a hard man to crack anyway. He's Pig Greenwood.
Yeah.
We're very good mates now, but...
Were we able to call him Pig around the hub?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, so he was very standoffish, and he obviously was at North Melbourne when all of the dramas sort of started. But then he was sort of telling me stories, and Praddy, he's actually best mates with Praddy.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So I've actually had a few conversations with Praddy and also Brady Rawlings, who I had a few run-ins with back in the day. But we're all good now, I think. Again, there's not too many.
But they
players.
actually did dislike you, didn't they?
Oh yeah, it was a genuine hatred. Yeah,
Gee
It
whiz.
started on a footy trip. Where all good stories start.
Yeah,
But it didn't
they
end there,
stay there.
unfortunately.
This one
Came back.
Actually, this one's not my next one's not a footy trip story. It's actually a Bucks trip story.
Okay, I think that gets through.
Now, one thing, we went to Cairns for Lyndon's Bucks.
Yep.
And we go to Cairns in a week to play 2 games of footy. So I'm going to experience probably a very different Cairns, although I'll try and sneak to Gilligan's at some point.
I know the guy on the door at the woolshed if you need drink cards.
Dunny came runners-up in the best dressed, what's it called?
Fashion on the fields.
Fashions on the field at the Cairns Cup.
You might even be able to whack that photo up.
If we can put that photo up in, so he's competing against his 6 nearest competitors, probably first and then second, third to 7th, were all under the age of 15 and girls, and he's up there with a straightjacket on,
Oh goodness.
sombrero,
and alcohol from head to toe, drenched in.
Longer than yours.
And he got runners up. He was stiffed.
So the people at Cairns just obviously saw what was going on and just thought, we'll make it.
I
We'll
felt
make your
robbed.
day. Yeah. Okay.
It's one of the better photos. We'll whack that up on the Instagram, which you know that they follow the Captain's Run Instagram.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we're going
Avidly.
global. We're taking off.
At Captain's Run. Captain's underscore
Underscore
run.
run.
Apparently someone's got the real Captain's Run. Family's not up here. So
family's in
lovely
Melbourne.
wife Sam and kids Easton and Emmett.
Emmett.
Which will both come under father-son for the Melbourne Football
Yes,
Club unless
that's what
he
we
whacks
love.
out another 67 games for Collingwood, which I wouldn't put it past you. But at this stage, they look like
Looking unlikely at this stage, Max.
at this stage they look like Melbourne father-sons. Missing them.
Yeah. Sam's working full time back in Melbourne, so stuck in stage 4 as a lot of people are. But she's keeping well and busy, and her mum's staying at our place helping out, and the boys are just running around being boys. So
Are they footballers?
Emmett was actually going to play footy this year for the first time, so he's now under 10s.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's just got into it. I think footy cards have been huge for him at school, and
Yeah.
he's a bit of a wheeler and dealer, so that got him interested. And Easton's only 18 months, but he loves balls.
That's a good start.
Great start. So
Yep.
he's, any ball, basketball, golf ball, football.
Golf's
he's
probably
into.
one.
Keep
Push
him at
towards
golf,
that.
yeah. Golf and
Can't-
tennis,
I've
you
got
want to
nothing
push
to
him
give him. I
towards
can't
them.
teach him anything, though.
Send him around this way. I'll teach him
Yeah,
everything
okay.
he needs to
I
know.
can teach him a couple of things.
Can you? Like what? I've seen how you...
Fade? Is it
A
called a fade?
ginormous. You've got a slice, a huge slice.
Is it
it's
a
a fade.
fade?
It's a fade in the technical term, but you can't control it, so therefore
if
it's a
the
slice.
fairway's right down the barrel here at our listeners,
Yeah.
Max is
Oh.
just lining up this way and the
Yep.
ball's going this way.
So I played. Do you remember when I got drafted? You probably don't remember, but we had a midfield golf day.
Yep.
And we all had. It was 20 blokes.
Was that
standing
before or
behind St
after you were
Andrews.
captured at Ritz?
Captured? That's
With
an after.
Daryl
Rich
Daryl
job.
Braithwaite.
We don't have to go there.
Okay,
I don't know why you
anyway.
went there. And I remember seeing you tee up, and it's like Lyndon just said, he's aimed at like 90 degrees off the fairway. So that is a definite slice for mine.
But you are better off the tee than you are a set shot for goal. I have seen... We won't go there, though.
I'm happy to go there.
Because you've been throwing shots everywhere.
But
I
I've got a
think you're
nasty
very well-
hook with my set shot.
Yeah,
so it's
I know.
completely different.
Figure that out. Where's the middle ground?
Well, I haven't missed this year. 0 goals, 0.
Well done.
Yeah. I haven't even been in the forward 50. I'm not even allowed in.
Even I've kicked the goal this year.
Yeah, I know. You're not allowed in the forward 50 either,
No,
so I don't know
I'm
what
not,
you were
you're
doing
right.
there. Anyway, that's 16 minutes of your time. I know it's your day off today, so you've given us a fair bit of your time. What are you going to do today?
Good question. I've been dropping the line in out the back.
Yep.
Trying to catch
The
a few
river?
fish. Yeah, the river mouth.
You caught much?
I got a brim the other day.
That's
It was
unreal.
A nice little size.
That's
Yep.
unreal.
And I've got about 45 mosquito bites on my legs.
Scratch them.
So they've had a... No, I haven't scratched them yet, but I'm really thinking about it.
You're a better man than I am. I just
Yeah.
itched myself thinking about it then.
Yeah, you've done well to count, 45.
So that's... And I might get a haircut as well.
No, don't. Actually, can we give...
Just to sharpen up.
Can we
like-
give the plug for the mullet?
Yeah, you can, sure.
Well, you need to
You
do
take
it.
the hat off? You take
Can I
the
take the
hat
hat
off?
off? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
Wow, that is
pretty
something.
long.
That's something else.
So yeah, mullets for the kids. We raised about $55,000 last
That's
year
unreal.
for the Royal Children's Hospital. Haven't raised any money this year, and technically, I think I'm just an ambassador now.
Yep.
One of our other young boys, Max Lynch, is growing a mullet as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's almost 2 years I've had it, so I've sort of just kept it.
Did you like Lyndon Dunn mustache or Lyndon Dunn mullet? Who do you prefer?
Both are questionable characters. I probably need to start acting my age sooner rather than later.
Yep.
I'm afraid that the next time I have a haircut, it actually might be my last because my pockets are starting to get
Yeah.
quite deep now.
Wow.
I'm not sure how many haircuts I've got left in me, so we'll see
You
how
can borrow
we go.
some of my hairline if you want. I've got enough to give.
The helmet.
Helmet head.
One
yeah.
of my favourite Instagram pages is Angus
Brayshaw's
helmet.
helmet. I actually don't run that one. So
That's a lie.
Actually.
That is a blatant lie.
Actually, lastly, before we leave, do you know when I first got drafted, they ran this thing where you go stay at a leader's house for a week?
Yep. I didn't know that, but
So, I mean, Jack Trengove got to go to Brad Green's.
That's big. That'd be good.
Tom Scully went to Cam
GWS.
Bruce's.
Oh.
wow.
Tom Scully went to Dean Brogan's at GWS.
That's awesome.
Geordie Gisbert and Luke Tapscott probably went to like a Mark Jamer. I went to Lyndon Dunn's out in Casey, out in Cranbourne, stayed at his Langwarrin, sorry.
Yeah, Langwarrin.
Beautiful Langwarrin, which is where I grew up my
Don't
first
you
12
dare
years.
backtrack now. You're going hard. Continue on that line.
And it was me, Lyndon, and Reece Healy. I won't go into who he was, but he was actually I will. He was a rookie at Melbourne. And I'm just saying it was a questionable first week of my life. And that's why I'm
Have a look at you now.
the person I am
Have a
today
look at
is
you
because
now.
of his leadership.
What were your first impressions of Max?
Not shy of confidence.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Really talked up his FIFA game.
Okay.
Passionate. I don't know if he's a passionate Black Cat fan now. Sunderland.
Still am,
'cause
yep.
they're pretty average
They're in Divi 1 and have been there for 4 years now. But
and sinking.
yeah.
But
Great
yeah.
Netflix show, though.
The funny thing is, Max actually was born in Frankston.
Born in Frankston, yeah.
Born in Frankston.
Yeah.
So like used to live in the area, and he
Yeah.
claimed that it was his hood and
Yeah.
All
pretty
that stuff.
disrespectful to be honest. But there was Nicorette patches all over my bedroom.
Me and you
second
both
bedroom floor
know
and-
that I wasn't trying to quit then.
No, you definitely
So it
weren't.
definitely wasn't the patches weren't there then.
Oh, geez.
All right, Chin, thanks for having us. That's 20 minutes. That's gold. Enjoy your day off, and hopefully you're in the team this week. You're playing Brisbane.
No, we play Carlton this week.
Brisbane the following week.
Yeah, but the twos are playing the D's tomorrow. So if I'm
Oh,
there,
yeah, right.
maybe round
I'm
two
trying
of
to think
the,
who would be our
Maroochydore
tall forward
Cup.
down there. Maybe a Mitch Brown or an Austin Bradkey.
Yeah, Brownie.
Maybe,
Sounds
yeah.
about right.
Yeah.
I'll back you in there. I'll see you in the ones this week. Good luck.
Brownie could be. He's kicked 30 in 4 weeks. He could be in the seniors as well. You never know.
be.
That's captain's run for another week. I reckon it might be episode 8, so that's episode 8 done.
Yep.
We did say we are going to get Tom Bugg. I didn't put the message out because I knew Lyndon Dunn was a chance.
Yep,
But Tom Bugg's definitely a chance for next week.
Yep.
But there's also a few other people that we've been. If you have a past player that you want us to,
That's a good idea.
have a chat to.
We could put a post up and get the social media going.
Yeah, to happily send through who you think. I might need a phone number if they're retired before 2005. I don't really know too many of them.
We'll be able to find something.
Probably won't be able to find too many with success. 1964 was the last flag.
Yeah, that's
I'd love to be able to talk to one of them.
Yeah, we'd have to. That'd be a fair effort. We're happy to go to the effort, but that's maybe let's save that for a bigger.
Get around the Captain's Run
Bigger
Instagram. Angus is back on there this week. He'll be putting up some great content.
You can get on there.
I'm not tech savvy, but I'll try.
What do you mean you're not tech savvy? You don't know how to log in Instagram.
Anyway,
Thanks for coming on.
thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.